Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined by Matt and Shad as always. And we have two special guests with us this week. We have J.R. Rock and Dale Bass. J.R. Rock, if you want to go to the podcast archives, it's been what, 6 years maybe?
Yeah, 6 years.
Has it been that long?
Hey, yeah.
August and September of 2019.
Oh wow!
Yep.
So that's a really old. That's one of the early.
Yeah.
Let me look up what number that is.
That's year one for us. So
Yeah.
768.
So they're joining us today because they are well, I guess you guys have run two shows, but they are starting out with a new wrestling promotion called the Kentucky Wrestling Federation. They just had a show. Were you at that show, Shad?
yes, it was.
Was it about 2 weeks ago?
August
Yes.
I like the show title for that. So I think you named the show "The Lovely Miss Elizabeth."
That was actually named after that because the museum had an exhibit for her called the Lovely Miss Elizabeth Exhibit. So that show was in homage to her.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It's a good
Can I
exhibit
interject?
too. Yes, sure.
Yeah. I actually was researching that, and I did actually see that. Yeah, like they actually put, and I saw some pictures of the exhibit that have kind of trickled down online. But yeah, like I thought it was really cool. I thought it was just like interesting marketing. Like that's fine. I mean, but yeah, it's actually based on an actual exhibit they did, which I think is pretty cool because, I mean, not a lot of people necessarily today they know or really focus on Miss Elizabeth because we're now 25 plus years after she was really involved, and I know she passed away, but I mean it's been quite some time since that. But it's cool that they actually were honoring her and that they named the show after her. That's pretty cool.
It was absolutely great. It's a nice exhibit. Had some of Miss Elizabeth's personal effects, and so it was really great to be able to be there and see that.
Did they have any of any of the ICW stuff where she was more of like a personality on their TV?
I didn't see any. Dale, did you see any ICW stuff?
I looked, I saw starting back in high school, and then it kind of jumped right on into WWE days and then on over to the TNA Impact stuff.
Now, Dale actually worked with Elizabeth and Randy during and before ICW.
Oh, wow. So just as a little background, and what I was going to say is, like, I know who you guys are, but we may have, our viewers may not. So if you guys would be willing to do the most immodest introductions for yourselves, I mean, lay it on thick so everybody knows who it is they're dealing with. I would please feel free.
Okay, that's no problem. Dale, you want to go first?
We got enough time?
We can go as long, we can go as long as you want.
I spent 3 years in the Army where I was a boxer. And I had a great amateur record, which extended past my 3 years in the Army. And I had a 30-5 boxing record. I entered into pro wrestling thanks to a person called the original Masked Marvel. And then I started being trained by Dale Mann. I broke into the wrestling business as a wrestler/referee, and when the Athletic Commission found out I was an amateur boxer, but I was doing pro stuff in the ring, they stopped me right there, so I had to turn pro for a while. So I had a 6-1 record, and my one loss was one that pretty well ended my boxing career. I stayed all my time in the wrestling. I was on the wrestling refereeing part from the mid-70s until the early 80s, and then I basically started staying behind the microphone, working with the promotions in the back, helping to produce, doing the advertising. I wrote for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I wrote for one called Wrestling Review. I also wrote for several newspapers, posting results and talking about the local wrestling scene. I probably over the years owned 4 or 5 promotions and co-owner in about another half a dozen. I've got wrestling promotions going, worked with basically all the wrestling promotions in the state of Kentucky, from from the late 70s all the way up until now. And kind of like know everybody, and everybody should kind of like know me. I worked for the Athletic Commission for a brief period of time, and my license number is Legacy W for Wrestling 001, and I've had that for years. So all the promoters know my license number is 001.
That's cool.
You got about the Hall of Fame, buddy.
Back some years ago, three people put together the idea of having a Kentucky Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and they approached me to be the one to run the website, or no, what website? Run it on Facebook. And I started it for them. Two of the three of them have passed away, and it kind of fell into my lap. So now I'm the one that runs the Kentucky Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And Miss Elizabeth, she went into the Hall of Fame in December of 2011. And Randy actually went in a few days after she did. She went in the Hall of Fame first. So I still work for several other organizations other than Kentucky Wrestling Federation, which JR has had that idea for a number of years. And he approached me, and we kind of became impatient waiting around. So finally, we just pulled the strings, and he brought what he has, I brought what I have. And with his 25 years experience and my 50 years of being in the pro wrestling business and everything I've done, we pretty well have put together what could be, in the long run of the look at it, probably the best wrestling promotion, indie wrestling promotion in the state of Kentucky. And it's going to be based right here in Frankfort. Now it's JR's turn.
It is.
Can I ask you one real quick question? Because you said something that caught my eye. So you wrote for PWI?
I had articles appearing in Pro Wrestling Illustrated years ago.
Did you
I was sending in information to them just left and right. Yeah.
So like when you did the articles, like were they ones kind of like, you know how it's always funny when you go back and read like a PWI about an angle you saw and you're like, oh, PWI made this sound way cooler than it actually was sometimes. Did you write stuff like that, like some of the stuff with creative license and all that? Or did you send
I would take
results?
pictures while I was talking about, and I would probably put like 1,000 words with a couple of the photos, send them on in. I get the photos published, and maybe if I was lucky, out of the 1,000 words, they might print 200.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, JR, it's your turn.
Well, like Dale said, I've been a pro wrestler for 25 years. I had 2 years of backyard wrestling before that, big time experience there. I walked in Danny Fargo's door in 1999, started wrestling for him. Since then, I've wrestled in every promotion in the state almost, all the surrounding states in Florida, multiple Hall of Fames, Kentucky Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. I've got 3 wrestling documentaries that I'm featured in by Steve Middleton, Fire in the Mountains in 2006, Stages and Waves 2018, and My Mountain Fiend, a short documentary about me in 2024. After I retired from pro wrestling this year, I decided to go ahead and start a promotion because everybody knows wrestling is a disease and addiction. Once you're in, you can't get out, no matter how hard you want to try to do it. So
Feeling called out here.
Yeah, you know the feeling.
I do.
Running the KWF, we had our first show, which was a nonprofit charity block party show in May. This Miss Elizabeth show was technically our show 2.5 because I helped Terry England do the Western Kentucky State Fair as a UCW KWF joint event.
And that building was packed.
And we had about 600 people in that building for that. And then the Miss Elizabeth was our show 2.5, so half of that one show. And we had 250 to 300 people at that show per the museum people. And they were so happy with it. I think they're going to make it an annual event.
Nice.
And Jay skipped over something. He's also an author.
Yes, and I have my book, Locker Room Stories. It has 100 tales from the past 50 years of wrestling, from Dale's early days in the wrestling business up until current, that I have for sale at the stores and the merchandise table and on my Amazon store.
I'll go ahead and throw the link for that into the chat here too.
Okay, awesome. And
So
if you don't just want to read about wrestling, I have a variety of other books on there as well: short fiction, poetry, screenplays, etc., etc.
yeah,
And about the wrestling stories, I can't even get a copy. As soon as he gets them, they're gone. Gone. They're
yeah,
gone so quick. And I've told him and his wife, the next time one comes, take the first one out of the box and set it aside and just, it's mine. And he mentioned the person that got involved with helping train him was Danny Fargo. Danny Fargo was my first tag team partner, and the first time he climbed in the ring, he was a referee for a match I was wrestling in. So I've known Fargo. And at the same time with Danny Fargo was Eric Embry. It was the three of us together way back in the mid 70s when we all got into business together.
Did you say Eric Embry?
yep.
Eric Embry.
You,
We've
so
actually been doing a USWA retrospective. Yeah,
Yeah,
1992.
we've been watching the weekly USWA TV shows, and Eric Embry has been an absolute delight in watching. I don't
Yeah.
know if any of us have really seen a lot of his stuff. I know I certainly haven't.
I'd seen him in World
But
Class previously.
okay,
That's
I hadn't really seen much of anything. I had heard actually reading like old Pro Wrestling Illustrated and the After mags back in the day. I had always heard like in the early '90s that he was like great. And watching him, I'm really like sold on him now. I think we're only through like maybe April and May too. We haven't even
Yeah, I
like
think we're just
the
getting
later
into
half of
May.
it. Yeah, unfortunately, from what we know, like his career ended later that year because he was in a bad car accident. Never really seemed to have bounced back from that. But he's been fantastic. He's such a great dirtbag heel. He's tremendous.
yeah. Lives in his hometown of Cloverport, Kentucky.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. So part of the reason that we wanted to give JR and Dale an opportunity to come and talk about KWF, well, it's selfish because JR is one of the people that in my comparatively incredibly short time in the business, um, you run into all kinds, and JR was one of the most straightforward, honest people with me that I dealt with through the whole business. And there were times when JR was, I'd talk to him and he'd be like, okay, that's pretty good, man. I like that. Keep that. And then there was a time he looked at me and said, don't ever do that again. And I was just like, yes, sir, I got it. Because JR was never BSing me. He was always being straight up. And I knew he was trying to give me good advice. It wasn't you don't want to do that, kid, because you might get over with it sort of thing. And when KWF was getting started, I contacted him and asked if there was a non-physical way I could get involved because I can't do the physical anymore. So, guys, tell us what do you think that people should know about KWF? Just here to start with.
You said pertaining to JR was so straight up and honest and everything with you. Like I've been involved with I've owned like half a dozen circuits and been involved with another half a dozen kind of part owner and such.
Mhm.
And looking back on those ones that I was part owners with, I can say that JR to me is probably of all the past co-owners, he is probably the most straight up, truthful, honest ones I have worked with. So when the idea came of, hey, maybe we ought to hook up together and put together a circuit, I didn't sit there and blow that one off. I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, this one could actually work. Unlike some of the others where after you work with them for a year or two, you find out they're stabbing you in the back and mistreating you. And, you're lucky if you get out with anything.
Yeah.
But with JR, I kind of looked at it as he's going to throw an honest 100% effort into it. And he means everything he's said. And he tries to do everything he says he's going to do. And he's proved that all the time. So, I trust JR in what I'm doing. And at being 70 years of age with 50 years in the business, I don't have time to sit there and play monkey around anymore. And
Absolutely.
I look at Kentucky Wrestling Federation as I'm going to give whatever I can possibly give in order to make this the best independent wrestling circuit in the state of Kentucky. And I trust JR is going to run it. He's the booker. I throw my 2 cents in, but it doesn't mean that he's going to listen to me. But I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. JR, what about you?
Well, we're just trying to make it a grassroots promotion based in the community. Um, it's the Kentucky Wrestling Federation. Everything on our belt is Kentucky branded and rooted in the community. The main plate of the belt itself is kind of a knockoff of the L8 shape of their logo on their bottle. We've got the horse race logo. We've got UK Wildcats on. We've got the Kentucky Seal. We've got the Bourbon Trail on it. So we're just trying to stay rooted in the community, especially here in Frankfort. We've joined up with a couple of local communities, the Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation and the Yes Card program. So we're a certified vendor for them. So all the kids in the community can come out to our shows and use their Yes Card, buy tickets or buy merchandise so they're not out and getting into trouble. And we donate our proceeds back to Wanda Joyce, a percentage of that. We donate a percentage of proceeds to the Kentucky Special Olympics when we're not doing shows for free and no profit.
Yeah. So, what part of getting KWF going are you most excited about? What's one aspect of it that you're most excited about?
Well, I think we're doing something right because I know a lot of the companies over the past year or so have been having trouble getting wrestlers to come do their shows on the fair tour and their spot shows. But I have had nothing but wrestler after wrestler message me and beat my door down wanting to come wrestle for Kentucky Wrestling Federation. I don't know if it's where I just recently retired and I know so many people from wrestling them or doing agent work at other companies. A lot of young guys that I've never even known or worked with are messaging me wanting to come wrestle for me. So whatever we're doing it right. And that really excites me that so many people want to come and wrestle for us. Every time we post a flyer or any kind of post, it's getting shared, it's getting pumped up, it's getting hyped up by everybody.
I work with other promotions sometimes that JR doesn't work with. And when I see certain talent, I'm getting their name and telephone number. I'm exchanging that. And then I'm dropping the word about Kentucky Wrestling Federation. It's going to be in Frankfurt. Contact JR Rock. Here's his number. He's getting people approaching him. He has no idea how or where they came from. He wouldn't be giving them his number unless there was a reason.
Right. So,
and we also picked a great day to say that wrestling in Frankfurt is going to happen. It's going to be on Sundays, and it's going to be 4 in the afternoon. And that gives us access to wrestlers from all over the area because nobody else is going to be running Sundays but us. So we have access to just about all the wrestlers. So JR handles that.
And that's not the only thing we run. Sundays is just our main house show time. We do the spot shows that are Fridays or Mondays or whenever, Saturdays, whenever we can get those into.
So
we're not.
Chad,
go ahead, Matt.
Yeah. That's actually a question I had. Is that what's your guys' vision as to, I guess, how often you're going to run the shows and when you're going to run it? Because I was talking to Chad and Brad about this, that it seemed like you guys were going to be doing it kind of earlier on the weekends, which I was telling you guys, like I've never been in the wrestling business, just been a wrestling fan for years, but I am shocked that more people don't do that because to me, like look, I got 2 small kids. My oldest one is 5. My youngest one is not even 3 yet. So I can't go to like wrestling shows, especially with small kids, like at night, unless I get a babysitter, and that's money out of my pocket beyond going to like the wrestling show. So doing it earlier on the weekend, that's like a perfect thing. Like I could go with my family and I'd be able to watch a show. I could bounce before it's too late. They can still get for bedtime. Like it's brilliant. And I don't know that a lot of small companies actually do that. I've been to a few like local promotions here that don't do it that early in the day. And it kind of is a detriment because people like me who would go to the show, I want to support local indie wrestling. I can't because the timing just doesn't work out. But running it at 4 o'clock on a Sunday to me would be like brilliant because I could just pop in and then be back for dinner. So
yeah, that's exactly why we're doing that because looking at that, people can get there. They can still have time to go home and get in bed early. Also, looking at it from the perspective of a wrestler, I don't like being out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, getting home from a show late.
Yeah.
So if I can get done with the show at 6 and be home by 7:30 or 8 o'clock, that's great. Plus, on Sundays, most companies run Fridays, Saturdays. That frees up all the talent, like Dale said, so we can pick and choose the talent that we want. Now, our initial launch, when we first posted we were going to launch, September 7th was going to be our first show date, the big hurrah. But before we could even get there, we had the Block Party Bash thrown in our lap. It's like, hey, you want to do this free show? And at that show, the Miss Elizabeth people came up to us and said, hey, you want to do a show for the museum? Then I got another call for a show that's been scheduled with a bar, but they're waiting on the building to get finished to get done. Then I got a show for UPS coming up in September. Then I just got another show a guy hit me up with to do in October, and a fair show. All those shows just got dropped in my lap before our first initial launch show has even happened.
And then you got the Paris date.
Oh, yes, next
and you
week.
got the Louisville date.
I just mentioned Louisville. Next week, we have a single, no ring, no rules match in between a little concert thing that's going on. There's going to be two bands, the single match with Jacob Radliff and Ethan Heyer, no ring, no rules, and two more bands will play at that little one-off KWF Presents deal.
I love your thoughts behind it, because it was one of those things that just seemed so baked into the culture of running an indie show that someone going against that trend being like, you know what, it sure would be nicer to do it earlier in the day. I was just like, as soon as I heard that, I loved it too, for the exact reasons Matt said. You mentioned talent. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
The dates are coming to him. We're not out searching for the dates.
Yeah, which says a lot.
Well, I guess that's my question. Like, are you going to run it like once a month, more than once a month?
Our typical house show here, it will be at Thornhill Gym on 700 Avenue. That'll be the first Sunday of every month.
Okay.
And then we'll just put it shows we can pick up in between the house shows.
Are there? You had mentioned talent earlier. Who are some talent you're excited to work with going forward?
I'm getting a lot of guys coming down from NWF at Roger Ruffin's company, who's me. Michael Montana. He looks like a really good talent. I'm ready to see what he can do. I've got Marty Clay, which Marty had his first match with me. He's coming in to do some stuff for us. I've got the Prospector coming down from Canada. He's been running around with Marty. He's going to do some shows with us. I've got Zodiac coming in, which I love Zodiac. I've got Evil Nate Hewitt coming in. I've got Jack Vaughn coming in from OVW. I've got Big Mama coming down from MWF. Tegan Thorne. Just all kinds of great talent. But those are just a few that I'm really looking forward to doing stuff with. A lot of young people and a lot of the older guys. I'm trying to mix them together and have something really good.
Nate Hewitt is actually, I started out with him. Our first match was actually a tag with each other where we literally got our ass handed to us.
Was he Rock and Roll Nate Cross then, or was that later?
The very first version of his gimmick was the modern day Miracle Nate Cross.
And was that on BCW?
Yeah. I've got pictures around somewhere of us coming out to it, and I used to have video. I don't know if I still do, but yeah, we started out tagging together. So haven't seen him for a while. I know he was at the Miss Elizabeth show, but I didn't manage to catch him. So
yeah.
One thing that I was really taken with at the Miss Elizabeth show was the care that you had put into the visual presentation of the show. Would you mind going into some of those and what your thought process behind them was?
Sure. Just sticking with the Kentucky theme. First of all, the ring that we got was Dale's from about 15 years ago in Georgetown. It had been stored outside and it was all rusted down, so we completely repainted the ring frame, cleaned the turnbuckles, which I've got purple turnbuckle covers to replace the white. I recovered the ropes with the orange. I designed the ring apron, ring skirt logos, and had those made. And then when I did the security rails, I figured since we were doing the Kentucky theme, I made the security rails look like the horse fences, that you see out on the horse farms. To give that look, and the two whiskey barrels at the entranceway just to help accentuate that.
I love that barrier. I absolutely love that. It looks fantastic, and whenever I saw that go up, I was just like, "Oh God, that's so nice." Because and you did too, but so many shows I worked, the security rail was a strip of ribbon between some PVC stands. So
Yes.
I love the visual.
I try to make the stuff that we do stand out a little bit. I don't
Hmm.
remember, know if you all remember when New Origins Wrestling was running, like 2014, 2015.
I
I was,
remember it was around.
well, I was a partner with them, and I helped do their security rails and paint their ring canvas and stuff, and come up with the color schemes for that. And
Hmm.
our ring security rails was the 2x4s, and it had the neon rope lights through them as a
Oh, okay.
drop the house lights and then turn on those neon rope lights before the show would start as part of our deal. We were all about the glow with New Origins Wrestling. So I try to just put a unique spin geared toward what each company's theme is that I've worked with when doing that stuff.
It's very nice indeed.
Custom music to open up the shows.
Yes, the theme song that we play whenever we play the bugle is
Mhm.
a song by a local guy named Jizzy Rizzy. A guy I used to work with. He did our theme song for New Origins Wrestling back when we had that promotion as well.
And you heard him mention what played just before the music. It's the starting bugle for
Oh yes,
yes.
yeah. The first, like, starting the Derby.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's you guys have so many great little touches in that. I love it.
Now, I stole that idea from Winona Judd because she had a concert and she played the bugle before her concert. So that's where I got that idea for that.
It's a great idea. So, um, I don't have a way to share the image right now, but the 7th, September 7th is going to be the first big show. What do you have planned for that? What are you looking forward to? What's going to be exciting?
Okay, so the September 7th is going to be the first round of our 16-man Chase for the Championship tournament. Okay, so we
Hmm.
got 10 of the biggest stars in Kentucky. Now, the way the matches are going to be, we're going to have one of them little bingo rollers. And Dale's going to reach in and he's going to pull out the names one at a time for the first half of our bracket. So from those matches, everybody that wins will go on to show number 3. And then on our second show, we'll do the same thing. And then all those people will go to show number 3. And then show number 3 will be the finals of the tournament. So it
Okay.
should be, we'll have, let me get my book while Dale talks, and I'll tell you all the participants we're going to have in this tournament.
Very
It'll
cool.
be
Very cool.
so the first show will have 4 matches pertaining to the tournament, and it'll have a ladies match. Those 4 go on. The second show will be 4 more matches pertaining to the tournament, and then we go in with another different ladies match. Third show will be the 4 winners of first show, 4 winners of second show. So that's will be our 8. Those 8 wrestlers will equal up to 7 matches.
Hmm.
So that's what the third show is going to be. Oh, and the belts that he kind of glossed over a little bit. I
Yeah.
guess you can say these belts were made in Europe and then
Okay.
sent to JR.
Have you seen the belts, Chad?
I've seen pictures, but I haven't seen them close up.
They are world class belts, made world class. WWE would be proud to say one of these belts would be something that they could have. I mean, they are thick, heavy. The heavyweight one is in black. The tag teams are in purple. And the ladies, which is really a custom front. No other ladies belt in the United States or that I know of looks anything remotely like what we have. The ladies belt is in pink. And they all have the side plates.
Okay.
And if you just had one of these belts in your hand and had a chance to look at it, you'd realize this ain't something that somebody went down and had a metal maker quickly make you up some belt in like 24 hours.
Right.
These are really world-class belts.
Mhm.
JR, I don't know how he found them. I don't know how he financially was able to swing the deal. He sent them the designs. They made them and sent them out of Europe, and they came to him. And well, on the third show, that's going to be when the heavyweight title is going to be up for grabs between the 8 different people. Then when you go over to the next show after that will be the ladies tournament. No, we're moving the ladies tournament. No, it's that the ladies tournament will be the next tournament coming down the road.
Okay.
I think it will. But JR's
Gentlemen.
here you go.
Oh, that's nice. And I definitely see the AL8 style font on it.
Yeah.
God, that's a nice belt.
You've got the
Oh.
4 plate.
Yep.
Got the Bourbon Trail plate.
Nice.
You've got the crest and the Wildcat plate.
Dude.
All the belts have the same side plates.
Mm-hmm.
The ladies' belt, like Dale said, is on pink leather, and it is a modern version of Rosie the Riveter busting through the face of the plate.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's so excellent. We've got some people in chat right now just saying how great that belt looks.
It gives me vague vibes of like the old UWF World Title.
Yeah, and all of our plates are silver on our belts. We like the silver better than the gold.
Totally understand that.
It makes it stand out and look different too.
Matt, what were you gonna say?
Bourbon Trail side plate, Chad.
Yeah.
Chad keeps promising that if I ever visit him, he's gonna take me around to the Bourbon Trail. So we'll see. I'm gonna hold you
what
to
happens.
that. Yeah.
I mean, these are belts. And in my 50 years of being in wrestling around, especially around Kentucky for as many years as I have, I don't know of another pro wrestling circuit that has belts of this quality that I've ever seen here in Kentucky. This is the best quality set of belts I've ever seen.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
Hey, Chad.
Yes, sir.
I got some old crow right here from
Oh,
Frankfort,
God.
Kentucky.
He went
Only
to
the
Europe
finest.
and did this quality of work.
I'd say this heavyweight title belt probably weighs between 7 to 9 pounds.
Very nice.
I like that you invested in good title belts because it takes you out of it when you go to like a promotion and they come out with a belt and it's like, I wouldn't want to beat someone up for that.
Yeah. That is something that's underrated because a lot of promotions, like especially like the IWGP title, even the AEW title, back in the old day, like my favorite title is still probably because I grew up in that era, like the Winged Eagle title, that they did in the WWF. It should look like it's a prize, like it actually is a prize. I know, we're past the days of kayfabe, but I mean that it should still be like, to take me and make me suspend disbelief. I want to believe that you're actually fighting for something that's someone's going to fight for it. It's worth something. It's not just like it looks like, especially with an indie promotion, like a piece of cardboard. It not to be rude, but I mean that is a nicely done. It does make sense if you're going to invest some money into promotion, invest it in actually spending some money and getting a good belt, because then it makes me like take your maybe it shouldn't be, but I immediately start taking your promotion more seriously because you've invested money in it and it looks awesome. It looks a great title. So yeah.
40 years ago, the belts were all basic sheet metal.
Yeah.
And they're all riveted into leather, and they just they were made by some local yokel in somebody's backyard. I mean, that's the way they all looked during the 70s and the 80s here in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then they started getting a little better quality, but then there was just a huge leap from everything that's out there now to what JR just showed you. Huge leap.
Well, I've wrestled on some promotions, and they're like, here's you a replica WCW belt with mailbox letters on it, or here's you a belt that looks like a license plate with a foam strap or something on it. And I'm just like, I don't want to be your champion if this is what I have to carry to the ring.
Yeah.
Or my favorite
A
is,
lot of
oh, here's the half dome NWA belt with a red strap because that makes it different from
Yes.
the belt.
So
well, a lot
it's
of we'll go to a promotion and they'll hand him a belt and you're the tag team champion, you're half the tag team champions, and here's the belt. You look at the belt and it says like mid-continental, blah 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 blah, and it has
yeah,
nothing to do with. And he says, well, don't let anybody see the front of the belt so they don't know.
yeah,
Hide the belt, and he'll go to several different promotions and he'll win a title and they hand it to him and says, don't show the crowd, don't let the crowd see what the front of it looks like. It
yeah,
has nothing to do with whatever these titles are. They just like they buy them at some souvenir place for WCW, and it looks good at a distance, but you don't want people to see it up close because then they realize it has nothing to do with what they're doing.
yeah. You carry it by the strap and have the plate facing your leg as you walk out because
Yeah.
you're like, oh. But look, we've all said how great it looks. That's the kind of, frankly, a lot of the WWE belts right now are just so utterly bland. I look at that one that you've got there, JR, and I'm like, that I'd rather hold that. It just looks great. So,
These
okay.
people to be in the tournament when they come out of the dressing room and start heading to the ring. If they happen to hold any titles with any other wrestling circuit in the state of Kentucky, which a bunch of them will, we have
Mhm.
already told them that we will acknowledge the titles in the promotion that they hold the championships with. So we expect Charles Colton, for example. I believe Charles Colton is going to be one of the 16 people. And he holds at least 3 belts right now. So if he showed up in the tournament and has those 3 belts, he can bring them to the ring if he wants to, because we're going to announce the promotions that the belts are from and what the titles are and say, here's the champion. And we want to have, if we could, champions versus champion all the way through the tournament.
Well, I look at this as this championship tournament is a tournament of champions. You mentioned Charles Colton. Nate Hewitt is in the tournament. He also currently holds 3 separate championship titles. Marty Clay is in the tournament. He holds multiple championship titles. Jacob Ratliff is in the tournament. He holds a championship title. So this is a tournament of champions for this championship.
Jack
And
Vaughn,
Mhm.
Zodiac. Yeah.
I love that because there's so many times that it seems like a company wants to operate in a bubble, like no other places exist. And I love it when companies are like, "No, this guy's champion here and been a champion here and and acknowledges those because it makes everything, that person and the match is a bigger deal that way." So I love that. I really do. So I'm going to shift gears for a moment. We've got some folks that watch our show that are just all over, that are probably not within driving distance of Frankfurt. Are you guys going to have a way that is available for them to be able to watch any of the KWF shows?
Yes. So we have our Kentucky Wrestling Federation YouTube channel. All our house shows, once I get everything set up, I have a background in electronic production. So I will be editing and producing all of our television shows from every house show. I also have a television deal with Northern Kentucky Public Access Television. If anybody lives in Northern Kentucky, they'll be able to watch it on there. I don't know what time slot, but the guy at the TV station just said send him the tapes and he'll play it. So there will be access to all the Kentucky Wrestling Federation house shows. I haven't done it with the first couple of shows because they've been outside, so it's been a little bit trickier to do it with that. But all
Sure.
the indoor shows going forward will have video and be broken down into 30 to 45-minute episodes.
Well, the September 7th is the one that we've been gearing for, and it's going to be inside Thornhill. And when the time comes to do that one, we're going to have all the bells and whistles ready to go.
Looking forward to it. Matt, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, so these are going to be on your YouTube channel, which I have subscribed to the YouTube channel. If anyone wants to go on YouTube, just search for Kentucky Wrestling Federation. It popped up pretty much immediately. There's a couple matches. I didn't watch it yet, but it was JR's last matches on there.
Yes, there's a few.
There was a match that you had let me look it up. I think it was from September 2024, and I was watching it, and I was just all of a sudden halfway through the match, or like 10 minutes into the match, the Cupid's Shuffle started playing, and I'm like, what is happening with this match? But it was fun. I'm excited though, because look, I I have two small kids. Sometimes watching wrestling content can be difficult during the week, but I try to make a point to watching it. And I would love to see a lot more indie stuff. And outside of going on a service like Triller or some other places, if I could have access to indie stuff easily, like on YouTube, like that's a big plus to me because I can just literally pop that on and I can watch that and especially if it's down to like 30, 45 minutes, something that's easily digestible. Like I think that's a great way to kind of build your brand because that's something that it's like as much as I love it, it's like maybe I don't have the time to watch like a 2 to 3 hour show. As much as I want to. It's not that I don't want to, but again, it's like maybe I had 30 minutes to devote to this. So having that, like I could easily like knock that out and that would be like a ton of fun. So if that's kind of the model that you guys are going for, I think it's brilliant because that can make people like me. And I know not everyone's like me. Maybe people have more time, maybe, but for me, like it's going to encourage me to actually watch it more because I know that I can bang that out.
Yes. Now, when you're watching our episodes, you'll see interviews. You'll see your man Shad on the mic doing some interviews, post match and pre-match. You'll see highlights from the matches on the show, and you'll see one full-length match. Now, but if you want to see the championship matches, you want to see the belts, people have to come to the house shows to see the title defenses. But you'll see the highlights from those matches and at least one full-length match in its entirety on all our shows.
When what are you looking forward to doing with the video presentations of it? Your YouTube and what's going to North Kentucky and that sort of stuff. What that's different than the live presentation?
Well, the live presentation won't have your part where you're doing the pre and post match interviews. Of course, we'll just have just the basic TV stuff. Just this isn't going to be any kind of fancy production. It's just going to be a stripped down, old school style wrestling television show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the fans like to see, something simple, something easy to digest, and it'll be short and sweet and to the point, and I think that'll go over pretty good.
And I think you were going to have a commentary desk as well.
Yes, you will be doing some commentary. I have Bobby Blade doing some commentary. I have the promoter of UCW, Terry England, who'll be coming up to do some commentary. So we're putting our guys in and out of the booth, trying to keep it mixed up and fresh.
Keep it fresh, absolutely. So whenever I went to the Miss Elizabeth show, in watching the show, it was a fun show. I had a good time with it, and crowd was into it. My observation from watching it is that it looked like you were going for very much a Southern style type ring product. Would that be an accurate description?
Not necessarily. A lot of the guys that I'm booking from NWF do the Northern style wrestling.
Okay.
I just put guys together. I don't try to overproduce the matches in the back. I try to put guys together that I know can have a good match and say, this is what I need for you for the finish. Go in there and here's how much time and give me a match. So the matches that they were out there putting on is the matches they decided they wanted to put on. I didn't say I need a Memphis match from you. I need a high spots match from you. I just said, go in there and give me a good match. So if we get a high spots match, we'll get a high spots match. If we get a Memphis match, we get a Memphis match.
Okay.
But go out and entertain, and if you can't entertain and have the crowd into it and make everybody glad to see you, I don't know what the chances are of you coming back for another show.
That's
There's think you got the guy that does the booking sitting right here beside me looking at it, and if he sees somebody out there and they just stink, I wouldn't want to bet that guy's coming back.
Yeah, I just want it to be it can be super indie, it can be Memphis, it can be whatever, it could be strong style. I don't care, as long as the crowd's entertained, it doesn't matter to me.
I love that you're open-minded about that. I've known some people who just got really bent out of shape sometimes, and it's like, we ain't doing that in this match. We're gonna work the arm, and the other guy's like, I'm a flyer, dude. It's like we're working the arm, but you're like, hey, let's have us, as long as you're having a good match, that's what's important. The reward for work well done is more work, right?
Yes, exactly. 100%. 100%. The better you do, the more I'm going to use you.
And it's not like he only has 20 people to deal with. He might have 20 people listening for a show, but he's got another 40 or 60 or 80 that got their numbers in his pocket, and they're just kind of hoping like maybe JR will call me for the next show.
Well, I've got shows on the calendar all the way until October 18th, and all the cards on those shows is already booked full, and I've still got guys to rotate in for spots because I've got so many people wanting to come and wrestle for me.
I believe your reputation precedes you, JR.
Yes. Well, my wife ran into a guy named Red Dragon. I don't know if you know Red Dragon or not, at the store the other day, and he was talking about our wrestling promotion. He's like, "Oh yeah, JR, everybody respects him. You shouldn't have any problem getting people to come work for you." So yeah, you're correct. My reputation does precede.
So
He's had 25 years of making his name known throughout all sorts of different promotions, different promoters throughout Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana. So his name does mean something when you say like he's a promoter now. Oh, really? He's gonna treat you with respect. You go down there and you give your all, and he'll know it. You go down there and you stink, he'll know it.
And like you said earlier, Shad, I'm not just saying, hey, this is the KWF world. We're the only promotion around. I've been helping Terry England with UCW, and he's been helping me. I'm good friends with Jimmy Walls, who runs USWF. I used the promoter for EWA on my last show. Me and him are friends. I did some agent work for him on his shows. So, I'm all inclusive. Whoever I can help, they can help me. It's just one big wrestling community.
Years ago, there was a promotion in Kentucky called BBW, Bad to the Bone Wrestling. Have you ever heard of that one?
I had heard of it. I never had. But what were the years it was running, sir?
Oh, jeepers. I was with it for like 8 years. It would have been maybe the tail end of the 90s going into the zeros.
Okay.
BBW is Bad to the Bone Wrestling, also stood for Bailey and Bass Wrestling, but it's Bad to the Bone. And I was with it for 8 years. And during that 8-year period, we basically ran like 28 fair shows in one season, all over the place within a 2-month period. We were running houses all across the state of Kentucky. And I mean, from Ashland to Paducah, from Cincinnati all the way down to Monticello, we were running shows. And on all those shows, I was basically saying that we are the major league of professional wrestling that is now running the state of Kentucky, in more towns across the state than any other wrestling promotion. We are the major league. And I'm looking at it as now Kentucky Wrestling Federation. We're not going to be going out and getting 28 county fairs and running house shows all across the state. But when it comes to who has the best show, it's going to be taking place on the first Sunday of every month in Frankfort, Kentucky. And that is where the Major League of Independent Professional Wrestling will be, Kentucky Wrestling Federation. The best belts, the best ring, the best everything we can put up, including talent.
100%.
I mean, I think that's the smart attitude to have, that you're being respectful in that you're keeping like kind of reciprocity for other promotions. You're acknowledging other promotions. Like you said, it's one big wrestling community, and that's going to foster like cooperation with other promotions or other talent. And I know I harped on it again, but like running on Sundays is to me like still brilliant, because it's like great point about the talent. It's like, maybe if I'm a worker, in a local worker in that area, maybe I do like Friday, Saturday. I'm trying to get as many bookings as possible. Friday, Saturday, it's like a Sunday. Like, if I can get on that show, why wouldn't I do that? Like, especially if it's like earlier in the day. Again, I gotta have more eyeballs on me, and I can still make it home at a decent hour. Like, that's a brilliant thing to do.
And it's going to help you also make connections, because with JR bringing in people from all over the place, all these guys are going to be together, and they're making new connections with each other too, which means that you're building a kind of a hub of the wrestling community going through your company too. It's just so much good stuff happening at once.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like the NWF guys I'm using, one of the guys was my tag team partner on a fair show a couple years ago, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'll hit you up, down the road sometime." And of course, I know Big Mama, and then I
Hmm.
went down to EA, and there were some of the NWF guys, and I was an agent for some of their matches, and I went over and I was like, "Hey, you guys had a great match." And then when I started promoting, I was like, "Here's my card. You guys come up and work for me." So they were talking to me, and then Big Mama, and then they were telling the other guys at NWF, and those guys were sending me messages, be like, "Hey, I'm available for these shows if you need any workers." So it just keeps expanding the base of people that I can get.
The promoters know JR. And they know he's there in the dressing room and talking to these wrestlers, but they also know JR. So they're not kicking him out of the dressing room for trying to swipe his talent. They're letting him talk to the better talent because he's going to help better talent get better. He's going to put them in the ring against other better, just as good talent or better from other organizations. But he's not getting kicked out. He's going to all these different circuits, and they're letting him talk to their talent.
So, of the talent that you do have coming in, which who do you think that you've got coming that you would say is the most well known?
Most well known,
Jack Vaughn.
probably Jack Vaughn. He's a viral sensation right now. And then
Hang on. Let me do this properly for Jack Vaughn real quick, okay? There, you got the thigh slap in.
So Jack is pretty well known. And then Zodiac is very well known in this area. He's been wrestling around here for a long time. Showtime Sean Christopher, he's been around the wrestling business in Kentucky since the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of veterans on my show. And then the younger guys, Marty Clay. Do you all know Marty Clay? You familiar with Marty?
I've heard the name, but I don't know him.
Okay, he started down in AMW in the Hazard area.
Okay.
For Kyle Maggard, and he's been working on WWE shows.
Oh, cool.
He was at an AEW show at Rupp Arena, so he's an up and comer, and he's been on several of my shows as well.
One of the people
in 2 years.
Yeah, he may be full time in one of the big time promotions in the next couple of years.
That's awesome. I would love to see that. One of the names that I stumbled across that was local, and I know I've seen him on AEW a couple of times when they've been in the area. I don't know if he's still doing, if Lord Crew is still working or not, but
I talked to somebody, the guy promoting this little concert. I've got the one match. He knows Lord Crew. I was talking to him about that the other day. I think he's still working some indie shows. Yes.
Okay.
I think he works. He works in Columbus a lot.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't know him personally, but I know a lot of people that do know him.
Okay. I think he lives like just south of Cincinnati.
Yes.
But okay, and what about on the lady side?
Well, let's see. I've got Maria James that wrestles on WOW Women of Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mom that is currently in NWA. Tegan Thorne, she's an up-and-comer. Miss Larkin that wrestles at OVW. Third generation Lexi Green. And a plethora of other ladies coming in for this tournament.
I've seen Lexi Green have a match that was, she had a really good match. And Big Mama, I was really impressed by how, because look, with everything that I have done and all the time I've been away, it's been hard for me to look back at indie stuff because it's just like, but seeing Big Mama's match that she had on the Miss Elizabeth, she just commanded that ring. I was really impressed with how she just took control of everything. She did a great job.
You remember what I announced on her at that show? Pro Wrestling Illustrated latest edition, she was ranked number 3 for the NWA World Title. The issue
I did hear you say that.
1 for the NWA World Title.
I did hear you say that, and you said a lot about her. So it was. I was in my head. I was trying to run through everything.
Lord Crew is still active, by the way.
Okay.
Fun fact: he did a job to the Beast Mortos on an ROH show earlier this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mortos the Soul Stealer. He's on Invader Zim.
I should say it should be Beast Mortis Esquire now.
Yeah, that's true.
On top of the top indie talent that we have around here, I've also got some connections with some names from
Mhm.
WWE, from Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Like I've got Ricky Morton's phone number in my phone. I've got Rob Conway's phone number in my phone. I've got Mr. Anderson's phone number in my phone. I've got connections to get Scott Steiner and a couple other names. So we're going to bring in some big names as well as the local indie names.
Very nice. Very nice. I was looking at my calendar earlier today, and from the October show, I'm actually going to be breaking down and leaving an event that I'm going to be at, that Jimmy Hart and Billy Gunn are going to be at, to come to the KWF show.
The Toy and Comic Con in Richmond.
Yes,
Now,
I
Jimmy
will be
Hart was
there.
2-hour show on Sunday that night, but his schedule is so tight with
Mhm.
the con he can't make it. So I talked to Jimmy about coming.
I would have given him a ride, but
Speaking of schedules, we have several shows coming up. If you want me to announce them,
go for it. I'm going to make
we
sure
know-
I've got them in my phone for all
Okay,
of them that I can do.
August 19th, we have the No Ring, No Rules one match deal in Paris at the Lions Club.
Okay.
That'll be at 7 p.m. I think it's $10 general admission for it's more of a concert with just a special presentation part of that. Then September 1st, we have a private show at Master Sensation Park for the UPS Workers Union Employee Day. They've rented out the entire Master Sensation Park. We're doing a
Wow.
2-hour museum. And I think that's going to be an annual event as well. September 7th will be our first big inaugural house show bash, first leg of the heavyweight title tournament. Then September 20th, we will be at the Powell County Fair. And there'll be us and a mudsling that night. Then October 5th will be the second night of the Chase for the Championship tournament. And October 18th, we will be at Rage in the Stage in Louisville. There'll be 6 bands and 4 matches. It's like a big festival type deal. The music starts at 3 p.m. Then there'll be a band at 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll have wrestling from 6 to 8. And then there'll be a band at 8, 9, and 10.
Wow. You got your dance card filled up real quick.
Yes. And then the first Sunday of November will be the finals of our tournament.
I've got that one in my phone too. So,
So
I cannot. That's November 2nd, and just to drive the point home again, doing it in the afternoon, the day that daylight savings time ends, is just it's going to make a world of difference.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me,
Everybody-
guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Everybody-
No, go ahead, sir.
And the kids and everybody's going to be there for the show, finish the show, go home, have plenty of time to rest or relax before they got to climb into bed to get up and do their Monday through Friday shoot job.
Yep. So what's a detail about this that that you haven't gotten to talk about much, but you really love?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Just the community support, I guess, man. Everybody in the community has been reaching out to us. Because when we first went and asked about renting Thornhill Gym, they're like, well, EWA ran here, but they didn't really draw. We're like, well, we want to do more of a community kind of aspect. And then the lady from Thornhill recommended us to the Wanda Joyce Foundation, and they got on board. Then Wanda Joyce said, hey, you all need to get on board with this Yes Card program. So they signed us up for that. And when they had the block party, they said, hey, you guys want to come set up a table? We're like, okay, sure. And they're like, well, you guys want to do a show? And we're like, okay. So we hopped on that. And then we got a community local doctor's office as one of our sponsors. So just the community support that we're getting from everywhere has been great. And then the museum reached out to us at that block party show. And then from the museum, they introduced us to the parks and tourism, who helped us get that spot on TV the other day when we were on the 5 o'clock news. That was all local Frankfurt and the tourism and parks department doing. We didn't have anything to do with that spot on TV. They just plugged it for us and pushed us with just to help support us.
Even Channel 27 plugging the Miss Elizabeth show, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, when I had parked and I was walking up the street to come to that. I got stopped by some people, or there were some people on the sidewalk talking. They're like, "Are they doing that down there? Where they men's, men's wrestling, women's wrestling, and which are they doing?" As I walked by, I just kind of they're doing both, and then they stopped me and they're like, "Well, tell us more about it." And I'm like, "Okay, here, let me tell you stuff." And when you gave me the flyers, I walked back down there. I'm like, "Here you go, take this." And they came down for I don't know a couple of matches, I think. Uh,
Good.
so it's just hearing them buzz about it happening, and then they get a little bit of info. They just came right to it. It was really cool to see.
Well,
So
I've told JR and I've told other people the best form of advertisement is word of mouth from the wrestling fans. I mean, you can
yeah,
see it advertised on a poster or on Facebook or even on a podcast. But if you come to a show and you see it and you like it, you go home and you tell everybody you know, like, oh, this is what I saw. This is where they're going to be next time. Let's all go.
yeah,
You give them a good show, make them happy. They go home. You'll see them the next time, and you'll see some of
absolutely.
their friends.
And we're not just relying on Facebook for advertising. About 2 weeks before the show, me and Dale went and hung about 100 flyers all around town on different businesses, windows and doors, wherever they let us hang them to help promote the show. So we're out there
Hmm.
pounding and pounding, trying to drum up the crowd and the excitement.
And trying to get the word out a little bit further online beyond just Facebook too. So
Yeah.
I,
Speaking, no, go ahead, Chad.
I was going to say, Mr. Bass, I also agree with you about word of mouth because then you have people who can tell you why it was fun to watch and what they enjoyed. And it's not just like, oh, this is a good show. Why is it a good show? And it's just a poster hanging there. And they're like, no, man, I saw these two guys have this match and it was awesome. And I just pulled. And you're right. You're 100% right. But to me, that's the big why is that they can tell you more. They'll tell you the why.
Yes.
I'm
You
sorry.
don't want people going home and talking to anybody, coworkers and friends or anybody, going leaving a show and go, well, it kind of stunk halfway and they didn't look like what they knew what they were doing and the music was terrible and the ring looked like crap. And you don't want people talking that negative stuff about you. You want to give them the 100% best thing that you can possibly give them, the best matchups, put the best wrestlers out there and please the people so they'll be happy so they will talk about you and come back the next time and bring more people. When you recognize you got crap out there for talent, get that person out of there and make sure that person don't come back again. Continue putting out the best wrestling talent you can on every show from first match to main event.
Percent. I had a line of thought and it's getting away from me. Oh,
Oh,
I now I remember. Around the time that you first guested with us, Jr., we had another wrestling friend of mine come on, and he echoed something that you had said in kind of similar terms. He says, I don't like going and working shows where the guy's like, let's just work the arm tonight. He goes, nobody's going to go tell their friends they had fun at a show like that. You've got to
no.
do stuff that people will think is cool. And when you say, hey, as long as you guys go out there and have a good match and get the crowd into it, then however you do it, let's run with it. It's just so refreshing to hear that sort of thing because um, I spent way too much time bumping my head against people who were in the other mindset.
Oh, I know what you mean. I've been on shows and the promoter or booker's like, this is what I need you to do. Don't change from this. Just do this 1, 2, 3, and that's all I want.
You're like,
And sometimes that's not fun.
And you go out there and you try to do your best, but you're not doing what you like to do. There's much more stuff you can do that would be way better than what people in the back are telling. It's better just
and
to tell, like what JR does. Tell them what you want. Let them figure it out on their own. Go out there and both of them put on the best one both of them can possibly do, and that's what the promoter hopes for.
And
Great matches, first matches to main.
and when as a fan that goes, like variety is really king. Like I hate when you go to a show and you're like an hour 3 and you've seen like 8 guys do the same dive to the same spot outside of the ring. And
Yeah.
and it's like I've talked about that before. Like when you get to hour 3, maybe like get some plunder out there, maybe do some comedy, like get my attention back. Like there's nothing worse. Like I like going to Ring of Honor shows, but they were like 5 hours long, and you get to the main event, and it's going to be 30 minutes, and you're just like, I'm just exhausted. Like my butt hurts because I've been sitting in the seat all night. Like this guy next to me smells. Like I'm just done.
Yeah. I've wrestled on shows like that. A few years ago, I was in Indiana at the arena, and I was match 11 of like 15. And matches 1 through 10 were a bunch of high spot matches. So the guy I'm working, he's like, okay, let's do this and this and this. And I said, no. I said, they just saw 10 high spot matches. I said, we're going to have a fight.
Yeah.
We went out
That's-
there and we did a fight and a brawl and changed it up a little bit and got our match a little bit over. And then
Being different than the other matches probably made the crowd liven right back up again. They wanted to see this kind of match.
Well, I always knew, like, when I went to the Ring of Honor shows, especially, like, if it was like hour 4 and the Briscoes music hit, I always perked up because I knew that was going to be different.
Different.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brad, I think you're onto something about like comedy. People like hate on comedy, especially like nowadays, but it's like there actually is a place for that. I've been to indie shows before where it's like you've had like a 15, 20-minute match, and it was maybe a good match, but you know, it's a longer match, and then maybe like the result wasn't what you wanted. Maybe you wanted the face to go over, and then you know at the end the heel cheated to win. So it's like disappointing finish because you know you want to go home happy. You want the face to win, and it's like maybe I'm dejected. I sat through a 20-minute match that didn't really end like I wanted to. It's like maybe I want like a 5-minute, you know, just jokey match where 2 guys are just gonna do some comedy spots, and it's like it actually does add some levity to it. So that the match after that, I'm back. I'm like, I'm refreshed. It's like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
So there's something to that. So yeah, like changing up the variety of it can work.
I went to a.
Well,
oh, go ahead.
I was basically trained by Dale TNT Mann. Do you know him? Regarded as probably one of the greatest wrestlers and promoters in the history of Kentucky.
Okay.
And even though he was the heavyweight champion for a ton of times, it's well understood that the main event, if the bad guy wins the main event and stomps a mud hole in the baby, and then he walks back to the dressing room and that's the end of it, crowd goes home unhappy and they're not thinking about coming back the following week. If a bad guy does that at the end of the match, there needs to be something coming out to fire up the crowd to say, next week, he's going to get handed to him. You know, you got to give the crowd something so when they walk out the door, they're not talking negative. They're talking about looking forward to coming to the next show because they want to see something they didn't get to see tonight. But they will next week.
And they're excited for it. So
Yep.
Like
bringing up the comedy. That's one of the regrets I have looking back is I thought, you know, I should have done some goofy stuff. I enjoyed kind of being a goofball anyway. I should have done it, and I just took my ass way too seriously.
Well,
It's like I should have broken it up.
I think the most fun I ever had is I went to a Chikara show once, and I would have taken anyone to that, not even fans, because it was different. It was like a comic book, and like one show I went to, it's the one thing I told people about is they did a test of strength, and that was the whole match. Like they went through the crowd, they went like into the concession stand doing a test of strength. At the end was one guy just let go and the other guy face planted, he pinned him, but it was hilarious live.
See, and that's the other thing is we have so many different offerings of wrestling now that if people want to find old school stuff, they can find it. If they want to find high spot stuff, they can find it. And so having a variety, the 3-ring circus means that there's something that most people are going to like on there somewhere. And maybe this particular crowd doesn't like it when it goes this far. They don't like when the comedy goes into full on silly, or maybe they don't like whenever this wrestling match turns into a, you know, Matt Chain classic or something like that. And that also feeds what you were saying earlier about the promoter saying do this right here. It's like, what if the crowd hates it? So
Exactly.
JR, just everything about the philosophy you've got going here, I really love. I love the philosophy you're taking into it. and the mindset you're bringing. It means that there's just so much that could happen that makes it really exciting.
Well, one of the biggest killers of independent wrestling in the state of Kentucky for the last 20 plus years is how now when you turn on the TV set, you get pro wrestling free 6 days of the week. Maybe if you're
Yeah.
lucky, there'll be a day where there's no pro wrestling going on. You know, and
I'll,
everybody, you talk about pro wrestling. Yeah, we watch channel this, channel that. Do you ever hear about so and so here in Kentucky? Like, no, we don't do that backyard watching that stuff because there's nobody down there that's seen on WWE and TNA and AEW. And this independent wrestling doesn't draw like it used to. In Georgetown, Kentucky, years ago, I was there when we were putting 600 people in there every Sunday night like clockwork for year after year, where we had the Sheik would be there one time, then Dick the Bruiser would be there one time, and Bobo Brazil would be there one time, and we were alternating big names coming, but we were drawing 600 people in Georgetown, Kentucky every Sunday night. Now you put the stuff on TV and all these indie shows, you're lucky if you draw 100 people. Look if you can pay for the building.
Hey, we're halfway there with 250 to 300 at this last show, so we're on track, buddy.
absolutely.
And to go with your point, it's not even like necessarily free. Like you can pay $9 a month and get Wrestle Universe, and there's like 12 Japanese promotions all on that app, putting all their shows on there. Like you get Pro Wrestling Noah, like DDT, you get like women's promotions. Like you can pay that $9 and have more wrestling than you can watch in a month.
Yeah. So
That's
they
a good
want
point.
to watch indie wrestling because we don't know who the people are. That's the hard part of getting people to come and start watching indie wrestling. So we want Frankfurt to be known as every Sunday, the best wrestling is going to take place in Frankfurt, Kentucky.
I do think there's some
Hang
opportunity.
on a
there.
minute, Brad. Let Matt's got something.
Well, yeah, I want to hear Brad's thoughts for a second, but I want to say that's again, I keep going back to it, but I think that's the smart thing about doing it on the weekend, especially on a Sunday, because like how do you counteract that? One of the things is you can get like kids involved, and a better way to do that is like make it more like for me, like I have a family, make it more advantageous to families to actually show up and get their kids involved because like you hear stories like how do you get like the next generation into it? Like you get the kids into it. And if you make it accessible to families and people who would like bring their kids to it, that's how you do it. It's like, not to be rude, like I don't care if like some jaded guy is like, well, I don't know the indie guy. It's like, well, then do you really care? Like you should, like if I don't know the indie guy, it's like, oh, let me learn all about this guy. Like I'm not like closed-minded to that, but I'm a diehard wrestling fan. But a kid or a family, like they're not going to care about that. It's like they're just going to be like, I want to entertain myself and my kids, and having it that available to me, like on a weekend. I mean, I'm obviously like, there are going to be people like me who it's like, I love wrestling, I want to go to wrestling, but they're going to get their family and their kids involved in that, and they're going to enjoy all that. You think a kid is going to care about like, oh, I don't know who like Charles Colton is? They're going to know. They're going to figure it out really soon. If a guy's going out there and doing like cool stuff, they see like a larger than life character, they're going to get into it. So I think that's a brilliant strategy. But Brad, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Well, to go with your point too, I think your approach is good because I think where indie promotions go wrong sometimes is you don't know who the people are, but then they don't like do anything. Like they're just running shows with like no angles or anything. So it's like, well, I don't know who this guy is, and you're not giving me anything to like latch onto with them either. Like you're not giving me a hook with them.
Yeah, and right at the gate, you guys are actually making these people important by it's like, and now we're setting up the world title tournament, and now you're going to be part of the tournament. So if I'm starting out watching the promotion, which we kind of basically are, because we're all kind of getting in at the ground floor, us as fans, besides you guys who are running the promotion, obviously. But you're telling me who like important guys are, and even if some of the people we don't see them again because you brought them in for the tournament. They're not regular mainstays. Like I'm still gonna like have a keen eye. It's like, okay, if you're in the tournament, I'm presuming you're somebody special, and the guys that stick around, they're guys who I'm like, oh, these guys can be like the future stars of this promotion. I'm gonna actually pay attention to it. So you're making that right at the gate. These people are people you need to watch. So I
And
agree, like Brad, you're right. A lot of people just like, here's guys, and it's like, who are these guys? If I'm just coming into this promotion, it's like, who are they? So presenting them is very key. But I think you also are trying to maneuver out of some of those pitfalls. We were talking like on before we obviously had the show tonight, and I think all three of us are really kind of impressed with some of the things that you guys are doing, because it is like kind of assessing a lot of this information and taking your experience and being like, how would we do this but smartly? And
and
you
that's
are kind of doing a lot of things really smart, which I appreciate, because it's obviously it's going to be for the long-term success of your promotion, but also as a fan, it's like, I like that you're doing this. You're not falling into like some of these tropes that indie promotions fall into, where you're not acknowledging this, you're not factoring in this thing. So
Yeah, like
and
I'll use a great example of like what indie promotions do that like doesn't work for me is like, okay, well, why should I care about this guy? Well, he's a good wrestler. Like, okay, like I can go anywhere and get like a good match these days. Like that's not like when Ring of Honor started out and it was work rate, that was a novelty at the time, like that level of wrestling, but it's like it's not anymore. I could probably go to a barn in the middle of nowhere and see a guy give me like a 3.5 star match these days. So like being a good wrestler isn't a character. You got to give me more.
yeah, and that's part of why we're doing the tournament. I always hated
hmm
see somebody start a new promotion. Like, well, here's your champion, here's your tag team champions. Like, well, how do these guys get these belts? How they decide who's going to be the champion? Just random Joe Slap is the new champion. How'd he get this belt? What's the story behind him being the champion?
You mean
So
you're not
with
going to
us
go to
starting,
Brazil?
yeah, a
no,
tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
yeah. So with us starting the new promotion, we're going to have a tournament for all of our titles. Our ladies, our heavyweight, and our tag team to crown champions. So the fans can grow with the champions as they progress through the tournaments.
On the first show, there's going to be 8 men and 2 women. On the second show, 8 different men, 2 different women. There won't be the same people on the first show that's going to be on the second show.
Which keeps it
They're going to
fresh and interesting. Like,
The ladies tournament will probably be around the first of next year. It'll be January or February. That'll be the night of the ladies tournament. I haven't got it all scheduled yet.
I like that you're keeping
That'll-
the shows small too. Like I think I've talked about it on here before that I think like 2.5 hours is about the sweet spot for like a good wrestling show.
Yes, two to 2.5 is what our goal is. Would hate when I'd walk into a show, mostly when I'd wrestle in Indiana Louisville, be like, well, there's 19 matches on the show tonight. I'm like, are you kidding me? I want to leave now. Don't even want to wrestle. I just want to go home. Yeah.
one of the things where you guys were talking about indie wrestling being different is honestly the fact that there are very few things in the world that are like a good crowd at an indie show, because not only are you there live with other people that are excited for it, but the people they're watching are interacting back. TV show, wrestling on TV, they are having to market to TV because that's where the majority of the viewers are. So they're turning to hard cam and stuff like that. But on an indie show, guy comes through the ropes and somebody's all up in their face, they're jawing back and forth, or
Yes.
they're fired up there's the experience of being in a crowd for an indie show is like very few other things, and I think that that's something that that's a piece to it that gets lost, because they're like, oh, well, who's going to be there? It's like, dude, who cares? Go enjoy a good show in person.
Yes, because if you're just going with the big shows that everything's geared for TV, the wrestlers aren't going to come around and interact with you personally at ringside. But if you come to an indie show that I'm wrestling on, I'm coming around and telling you to sit down and shut your mouth and show me some respect to every person in the front row to try to get them involved.
He's not a baby. Keep that in mind. He's not.
I remember back in the day when Chuck Taylor still did indie shows. If he came out and you weren't watching your stuff, like your drink was getting chucked across the building if he could get at it.
I haven't heard the name in a long time.
Yeah, his I believe his ankle is shot, so he's moved into a production role. Matt, you look like you're about to say something.
Well, I was just gonna say like that to that point about indie shows. Like I've been to indie shows plenty of times before, and going back to like the kid aspect, like kids, I've seen kids like ridiculously excited like for indie shows. And I know like oftentimes like kids could be excited, you know, when they go to like a big show like WWE or whatever. But like there's something a little more personal, and I've actually seen indie workers like make a point to, you know, acknowledge, especially like obviously the babyface workers, make a point to acknowledge the kids. I mean, that's a smart thing to do. You're obviously getting your gimmick over, but it's also, you know, potentially it's money in your pocket because some of these kids, like, they want to go, you know, to the merchandise stand afterwards, you know, get a picture, like, meet you, whatever. But I've seen kids, like, get really into it, like super into it. And that actually plays into it, too, because it's like, you know, it's, especially indie, like, you need the crowd involved because that's the people who are going to come back next time you're doing a show. If you're doing like a circuit, you know, you need them to come back to that area. If you're doing the same show in the same location month after month, which maybe you guys are, you want them to come back next month. And I know personally, like, again, I'm a diehard wrestling fan, so, you know, if this was happening in my area, like, yeah, I'll come every first Sunday of the month, absolutely. But if I'm bringing my kids, it's like I want my kids to be involved, and my kid's going to be like really excited if it's like my daughter, you know, I'm front row seat, you know, ringside, and one of the wrestlers like acknowledges her, like my daughter's gonna be like, oh, sold. Like that's gonna be her next favorite wrestler. So having that level of engagement, you know, can actually like pay a lot of dividends down the road because they're gonna want to keep coming back. I'm gonna want to keep coming back. Like it's just smart business. So
Yeah, and
there's a lot of
whether
things. Again, a lot of things you guys are doing that are that's smart to me. Like.
Yeah, I know. When I went to the Chikara show, they did a battle royal to end the show, and I think he was a farmer at the time, but it was a guy in a frog suit, and I remember he got eliminated, and he was laying on me selling.
JR, tell them about one of the guys we have that's coming in called Marcus Johnson, what he does when his music hits and he comes through the dressing room door to meet the crowd.
well, they were just talking about the match with the Cupid Shuffle coming on. Marcus Johnson, he's a local guy from Richmond. He comes out, he gets the entire crowd to dance, doing the Cupid Shuffle before the match. If he wins his victory celebration, he's got all the kids in the crowd dancing, doing the Cupid Shuffle with him, interacting with the whole audience.
He goes through almost the whole entire song, working his way around every side of the ring, getting everybody to stand up and do the hips, win, you know, all that silliness. Yeah, and the crowd just loves him.
Yes, I just looked it up. That was the match I watched, and I was like so confused. I'm like, why did the Cupid Shuffle start?
Was that?
But it was fun. I'm like sitting there watching this. I'm like, I just start moving. I'm like, all right.
Was that
We're doing the Cupid Shuffle now.
Was that Action Dean too, where they did the dog collar match and Adam Priest was like literally like holding onto a fan as Mad Dog Conley was trying to pull him into the ring?
100%.
Have you guys seen Mad Dog Conley before? He's fascinating.
Where's he out of?
He does action wrestling, which is I think it's in Georgia somewhere. I think.
I don't think I've seen him.
I think it's around where Wildside used to be. It might be like a spiritual successor to that. And it was.
I'm gonna pull him up real quick.
And it was I think it started its life as Scenic Wrestling, the Scenic City Invitational, is I think what it originally started as.
Let's look him up.
So
he's from Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
From not having crowd interaction, we expect for our bad guys to go out there and act like bad guys and work the crowd. Then we expect for our babies to go out there and put on that smile and flex their muscles and do what they can to get the girls all screeching and screaming.
I love that you point that out because I'm sorry, Matt. I know I'm cutting you off with this, but
No,
it's something that we have discussed on here. I've said that I feel like that the cool heel is one of the worst things that's ever happened in wrestling because it robs the face of anything that they could do, and now the heel is like, oh, I'm the bad guy, but I'm the one everybody likes, and it's like, well, what the hell are you doing to the other guy you're working then? You know,
Yes.
you're just clipping him.
When I wrestled, I went out there and I was trying to be the baddest bad guy that I could be. And I want all the bad guys on my show to be the meanest, nastiest heels that they can be. That was my goal every night, to make people
Yeah.
as mad as I could, piss them off as much as possible, so they would cheer the babyface on that much more.
I know I've gone to shows where JR was on the show, and I would sit there and I would watch match after match after match. Bad guy'd get out, walk around the ring, just look at the thing, climb up in the ring, and that was it. Making no real interaction with the fans. JR would come out there, we'd have to almost play his music twice before he'd get in the ring because he'd after this little kid, then this fat woman, then this other little kid, then a bald-headed, toothless man, and then another kid. He would work everybody going around.
Yeah.
Take his sweet time. We'd have to play his music sometimes twice before he'd even get in the ring.
I was on a fair show 2 years ago, I believe it was. And after the show was over, the promoter came to the back and he started ripping everybody's ass in the locker room. He's like, none of you guys worked the crowd one time tonight except for one guy. And he pointed over to me. He said, you don't have to listen to this. And he ripped the baby's asses, the heels' asses, because none of them worked the crowd at all.
It's
And you know, if you don't work the crowd, you know what they kind of sound like during the match. You can hear cricket. Time.
it's
Yep.
Yeah.
it's surprising.
That
me.
was
Not during JR's match. And you
No.
know, you know, the later years in his career, he went around with a kilt. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he took a lot of heat with that kilt, but there was a reason why he had the kilt on in the first place, and that heat was part of the reason why. You know, oh, it's his
Oh, yeah.
skirt. You know, everybody worked trying to flip his skirt
It's
up
not
in
a
the
skirt. Shut up. You know.
The boos and the jeers would start before I even came through the curtain once the music started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
recognized music and like, oh, here comes Gargamel. They had nicknames for him. Oh, I see him laughing.
Yeah.
Gargamel. They call him Gargamel, and yeah,
I just don't
and
get.
that's the.
Yeah.
I just don't get
Took
that
him-
because
I mean, he for 25 years, but during that time he perfected his character. So wherever he went, any promotion he went to, he wasn't looked at. Oh, this guy is like first and second match guy right here. No, they looked to him, and if they knew him at all, they looked to him as a semi-main to main event guy right there.
it just
You
kind
all
of
coming why he's out there.
it just
If
shocks
you're not
me.
playing to the crowd, it might as well be an empty building.
Well, it's
Go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
It's not hard though. Like some of the simplest things I've ever seen has gotten like crowd heat. Like going back to the Chikara show, which I think is the best live heel thing I've ever seen. So they're doing a bit of comedy and they were accusing the face of having something in his water. So they took a water bottle from this lady and they had the ref try it and taste it compared to the other one. But what he did that really got the crowd against him. So he went to hand the water bottle back to the lady, and as she reached for it, he just dropped it on the ground. As she was reaching for it, and the whole crowd just like instantly like turned on him.
It
you're
wasn't.
right.
Go ahead, Matt.
You're right. Like
I had something pop in years ago with a girl called Rosie Green. She was ugly. She had long hair. She was a bit overweight, and she was not really toothless, but there was a lot of teeth that were missing. And one of the things that she loved to do, and she was a friend of mine because I loved the way she worked, she would come out, she would sashay her. She had a big chest too. She would sashay her way around the ring, and she'd find a pretty girl hugging on her boyfriend, and she'd go past him and then back up, and she'd start talking to the boyfriend like, honey, is this the girl you told me about that don't know how to do? And she would say stuff like that. And then she would stick out her tongue and do a big old lip thing around with her tongue. And yeah, you really miss this, don't you? I can do tricks with my tongue and you know it. And, you know, it's a shame she don't know how to do some of the things I did to you last night.
That's hilarious. It reminds me of
that's the heel.
Did you
girl
Yes.
that no other will match line.
did you guys see when Ricky Steamboat was on Hey EW and he was saying like, well, I could have played heel, so they gave him like this script to read, and he's like, to be a heel, he's like, hey, your sports team is bad, like you're bad at making love. What was some of the other stuff? Like you're fat.
I can't remember, but he couldn't do it. He's
No.
Ricky Steamboat. He's too
Just
nice.
quintessential baby face.
He's
yeah.
like deadpan reading these cheap heel things too. It was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It was. I never understood why it was hard to play when I was a face. I took the cheap way out. I ripped off Bret Hart. I would wear a bandana whenever I went out to the ring, and I would sign my name on it before I put it on, and before I got in the ring, I'd take it off and hand it to a kid. Here you go. Come out. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Find a little kid, give him the bandana before I roll in. What have I done? I did something nice for one of the kids, and that kid's in for it.
That's the thing. Like it's actually this. It works. It's so simple. It actually works. Like being like a dastardly heel, it works. Being like the super nice guy babyface, it works. Like we went to this weird period of time where like a postmodern thing where it's like, oh, we can't do those kind of old like antiquated things. It's like, no, that actually works. It's like basic psychology. The nice guy, like people want to root for. The dastardly heel, like we want to root against them. We did go into this thing where it's like the cool heel, but I agree, like it kind of, we need to move past that. Like we had the cool heel era, we've moved past it. Like there are people like even like the modern era, there are people, and I've seen this like kind of commentary online where people have said like you're not ready for like the dastardly heel again. Like some people are, like a dastardly heel that does really dastardly terrible things. Like some people aren't ready for that, but that actually works. It gets people over.
Well,
If you're a good heel, you make the babyface's job that much easier when they come out.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Because I got. Go ahead.
I was
Sorry,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
to go with what Matt says. I think people aren't ready for it because I think a good heel they kind of dip their toe in the line a bit. They don't necessarily cross that line, but I think a good heel kind of swirls the water around a little bit on the line, kind of creeps up to it, and
A lot of these younger guys wrestle now that want to be heels, but they don't want the heat that goes along with being a real dirty,
Yeah.
nasty. You have to have a certain personality to be able to take having people spit at you and throw stuff at you and cuss you.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's tie this around to something we had talked about when we started the show tonight. We were talking about Eric Embry because we were watching like USWA, like 1992, the USWA TV. One of the people that like is actually like a revelation to us is Brian Christopher. Brian Christopher is such an annoying chicken shit heel to that. It's like that is a guy like he was still early in his career. But that was a guy that in 1992, he was not afraid to take the piss where he just go out there and be as annoying as possible. Like I'm telling it, like I am a guy, it's like every time I see him on USWA TV week to week, I'm like, if there is a guy that I want to smack the hell out of, I just want to slap the taste out of his mouth. Like I'm not even a violent person. It's just like everything, his little annoying laugh, everything. Like that's a guy, it's like he understood the assignment. It's like I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna take as much heat as possible by being the most annoying little asshole that I could possibly be.
Face
Like,
while he's doing.
Yeah, he took all of it. He knew what he had to do, and it's like I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna take it, and he got over. Like people just want the face, whoever he's facing. They just want him to just like smack the hell out of him because he's so annoying.
Even Eric Embry, like, there's a lot of weeks where it looks like he hasn't taken a shower in about 3 days, and he's just kind of greasy and dirty.
He's all greasy, yeah.
He always wet his hair before he went out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He first started, he wasn't wrestling as Eric Embry. He was underneath the hood wearing red, white, and blue, called himself the Masked American. And he had a friend of his from high school that was his tag partner, also looking the same way. His friend only stayed into it for several months. But Eric Embry, as the Masked American, would go against the Red Devil and Baby Intern. And that was Danny Fargo and me. And we did that for probably 4, 5, 6 months around Kentucky before Eric Embry was unmasked. And then he went from the Masked American to the Unmasked American. and he still didn't even use his real name for about another year before he showed up in Georgetown, Kentucky. And that would have been during Dale Mann days. And he showed up, and then that's when he started going as Eric Embry.
That's cool.
Danny Fargo got him in there working for Dale. Like Danny Fargo also got me up there in Georgetown working for Dale.
There's I think a good one for people getting in for heel work is Ron Wright. Like there's some great promos with him online. There's one where he's sitting down to talk to the announcer. He's like, "Why you always got the chair so low when I come out here?" And just like picking at the announcer, and you can tell he kind of ruins it sometimes. 'Cause you can tell he just loves being like a dick all the time. Like he's having a little too much fun.
And one of the nicest guys.
Chad, you know Alex Angel, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alex is one of the people I've had some of my best matches with.
I know he's from BCW too. Let me tell you a good story about him one night. I wrestled in WCCW. We were wrestling each other, and there was this girl in the crowd. She's really annoying super fan, and she had taken a picture with Alex at one of the shows and brought him copies of it. So Alex is showing me the picture, telling me the story. I said, "What are you going to do with that picture, Alex?" He's like, "Well, I don't even want it." I said, "Well, give it to me." So I went out and did my little spiel around the ring, got up in that girl's face. She's like, "Alex Angel's going to kill you, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Well, you know what I think about Alex Angel?" I said, "This is what I think." So I take and whip that picture of him and her out, and I rip it up and throw it in her face. She starts crying. Then Alex's music hits, and he comes out and makes the big save, and the crowd just goes nuts.
So something that I loved about Alex is when I started working with him, he got this idea in his head. He said, "What is it that I hate?" He said, "I hate little emo pricks." And so he started steering into it, like doing the emo hair comb and putting the mascara on and stuff and using Bullet for My Valentine as his music. And what he discovered was a lot of the girls liked it and their boyfriends hated it. So then he would lean even harder into it. So the guys were even more pissed off. And I loved working with Alex because he and we had good chemistry. And he and I worked when there was that big 3-company show in Shopville.
Oh, yeah, the co-op.
Yes. So Alex and I were the only match on the card that didn't have a title involved other than the Battle Royal. And because it was supposed to be a tag match that night, and I think Jed was hurt. He didn't want to work or something like that. So we go out there and have a match, and we're doing stuff, and then we're doing stuff, and we're trying to build to it, and someone in the crowd goes, "Boring," and Alex is like, "Let's shove it up their ass." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." And we just kicked it into gear. He said, "Give me the biggest lariat you got." I do that. He cuts a back bump or a backflip cell off of it. I rack him on the top rope, and I threw a roundhouse kick higher than I had in years and caught him like right at the base of the back of the neck. And he was a joy to work with because he also understood the assignment. If he was going to be a good guy, he was going to smile and get. But when he was going to be a bad guy, he and I think John Noble were some of the people that would crack me up with picking on people in the crowd. Yeah, John Noble also. Well, I mean, John's so damn good. He's one of those people that could have a good match with a couch.
He's in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and just a little while ago, he went against the NWA World Champion for his title.
He 100% deserves it.
Not ready to.
Yeah, he 100% deserves it. But hearing John Noble point someone out in the crowd and said, "If there's any kid out there that's missing his Batman bed sheets, this big woman over here took him and turned him into a pair of pants." And that is heel heat that would not have even occurred to me, but it was so great because it's so absurd, but it's also an accusation thrown at somebody to piss them off. It's just, and none of those people had a problem showing their ass, taking their licks whenever the time came as the heel.
That's something that heels need to understand. Like sometimes you just have to show ass.
You got to get beat up.
Like you got to show ass. Like yeah, and
beat up anymore. You're a heel. You go out there. You be mean. When it comes down to it, you take the ass whooping and you run off in the end.
That's one of the things I appreciate about the Young Bucks when they go heel is they do it right mostly. And I appreciate that Nick is willing to walk around with that god-awful haircut when he's a heel just to piss people off.
Yeah, they're willing to get beat up. They're willing to look like idiots because the crowd gets to point and laugh
Well,
at the heels. So
yeah, and some people nowadays it seems like, well, I don't want to do that. It's gonna make me look like an idiot. It's like, no, that's your goal. That's the assignment. Like if
Yes.
you're a heel, sometimes you need to make look like an absolute fool. Like
You do it.
the face needs to go in there and make you look like an idiot and just like make you look like an absolute joke because that's the assignment. It's gonna get the guy over.
Yeah.
Like that's who makes the money. Like you as the heel, like a lot of the money is the face beating the absolute tar out of you.
Yes.
Like
and
it, yeah,
a lot of these young guys don't understand that. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I worked a show in Frankfurt one night, and I came in, and I was a special guest referee as a heel. So I screw over one of the babies in the match, and they were having some kind of tournament. So in the next round, the guy that I helped win comes out, and I come out and I club him from behind. I'm like, oh, well, I see you all need somebody for this next round of the tournament. Somebody told me so-and-so got injured. I'll volunteer. So the crowd's hating on me, blah, blah, blah. So they say, okay, you can be in the match. So I get up on the apron to wrestle the guy whose opponent I just knocked out. And then the other guy I screwed over comes out and starts jack-jawing with me. I turn around and take a choke slam and get beat in 5 seconds. The crowd goes wild, but I was the most hated and overhill in the whole building, and I just got beat in 5 seconds.
yeah, because you knew what you were supposed to do. It's
Mhm.
what was
Yeah,
the
I mean,
phrase?
Storyline, and he went through to pull it off.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase. I heard him in an interview say that wrestling is a morality play.
Yes.
Evil builds up, and then good comes along and vanquishes evil, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, and a lot of guys on that show were like, oh, you're going to get beat in 5 seconds? I said, that don't matter. I said, that's not going to hurt me at all. I said, I'll be the most over guy in the building tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. People, there are a lot of people that don't understand that. It's like what is like Sting now he's retired, but like what did he say? It's like it's not. And he says this, but he got badly screwed over at points in his career. But it's like it doesn't matter if you lose. It's like how you lose. It's like yeah, like you could lose in a way that it's like you're gonna get more over losing than actually if you won. Now obviously that can go horribly wrong, but JR just great point. It's like I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna make myself such a heel that I'm gonna get beat in 5 seconds. No one's gonna care. It's not gonna hurt me 1 second. And he's right. Like look, he got himself more over. People are gonna what? Yeah, next show, people are gonna want to be like, I want this guy like murdered. Like they're not gonna care that he got B5. So they're gonna forgot about that.
And you can
forgot
talk
about that like 30 seconds after it
back
happened.
too. Like
Absolutely.
Look at old stuff with like Buddy Landell. He could lose every night, and he was so obnoxious that he would have his heat right back.
And it's an old friend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen, we've been going for about 2 hours, and
2 more hours to go.
I would be happy to, but as it happens, it's the first day of school here tomorrow, so So I want to say to JR and Mr. Bass, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been an absolute pleasure, and we're really looking forward to seeing where KWF goes, and I'm really excited to be able to be a part of it. Thank you, JR, for letting me in the door on that. And
the whole podcast wants to come down and do a live pod on one of the shows. You're more than welcome.
And you have the end.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I checked while we were on the air, and I'm only a 3-hour drive away from Frankfurt, so I might have to show up for one of these shows.
I'm unfortunately in the DC area, so I'm a bit of a flight away. But I actually did look while we're doing the show. I looked. It's like how much would it be to fly for that world title tournament? and I did actually price it. It maybe could happen. I don't know. But I have subscribed to the YouTube channel, so I am excited for future content that it's going to be dropping once to actually do like the official shows.
Well, it'll be on there for you to watch. But the day before that Miss Elizabeth show, I was actually in Chesapeake, Virginia, working all week. So I drove 10 hours the night before back to get to Frankfurt to set up for that show that day.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, that's the life of an indie worker.
You
Yeah.
have the Kentucky Wrestling Federation addresses on Facebook and all the other. And
We
Mhm.
if you can add in the Kentucky Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame also on Facebook.
okay.
Mhm.
We'll
Oh,
get
cool.
that all out there.
I need to check
Like I
that
said,
out.
gentlemen.
Picture in there. He's in there.
Yes, I was
Yes.
inducted this.
Absolutely. And
Cool.
JR, well deserved, man. I mean,
Sir.
I heard you guys on a different podcast talking about some people, oh, I should be in there. And I'm like, I know sure as hell I shouldn't be. Like, people like JR and John Noble deserve it. Like me, no. I was some nobody. Don't, these guys, like, this is who it should be.
You wouldn't believe the amount of nobodies that get in touch with me or fans writing into the Kentucky Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame suggesting these nobodies because they were a flash in the pan for 6 months or a year or two. And they all feel like this guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame. That's not mine.
So, fans, I don't get bent out of shape about because they're fired up about someone they like, but it's like, I know to be in wrestling, you kind of have to be a mark for yourself, but let's, have some awareness.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We're really looking forward to it. We'll make sure that we put your links to your stuff out there on our sort of thing. And again, thank you so much. And we'll look forward to September 7th, if not before.
Can I get a quick plug in before we go?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Catch me coming up this week on the Chillin' with Kenny C podcast. Catch
Okay.
me August 23rd on Always an Eagle podcast. And catch me on Nice Guy Andy podcast, 2 dates in September as well.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you having us.
Thank
It was
you
a
for
pleasure.
coming on here with us.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that is it for this week. Thank you for joining us as always, and we